Hello and welcome to another episode of Pick 3 DST, where I give you 3 defenses I like and 1 defense I'm fading for week 16 of the NFL season. I'm your host Eric Samulski, and as always, these are not my full weekly DST rankings. If you want to check those, you can click the link below or go to RotoBaller.com and check out my article, which I update during the week when we get weather information, injury updates, or anything that I think changes the DST landscape. We're going to start with the defense I'm fading for this week, and it's the Baltimore Ravens. Consensus has them 3rd, and I have them down at 11th. So they're still playable in 12-team leagues for me, but I think we need to temper the expectations for the Ravens a bit this week. First, they're the 13th ranked defense over the last month, averaging 7.3 points per game. They're also going up against an Atlanta team that gives up the 8th fewest points to opposing fantasy defenses. And a lot of that has to do with how much they run the ball. Even last week with Desmond Ridder under center, the Saints finished as the 15th ranked defense because the Falcons just didn't let Ridder throw the football. That's going to be the same thing against the Ravens this week. So that means the Falcons aren't going to give up a lot of sacks. They're not really going to turn the ball over a lot. So that's going to lower the fantasy ceiling a bit for the Ravens, even if they keep the Falcons really low scoring, which I think they will. So the Ravens are a safe defense, but I don't think they have the ceiling to make them a top 5 option this week. Next is my sleeper option for the week, and it's the Cleveland Browns. Consensus has them 15th, and I have the Browns up at 5th. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Browns are the 2nd ranked defense over the last month, averaging 12.8 points per game. And now they're going up against a Saints team that ranks 26th on the year, giving up 11.1 points per game to opposing fantasy defenses. The Saints are also doing some crazy things on offense. Just last week, David Johnson ran more pass routes than Alvin Kamara. So I don't really know what's going on in New Orleans, but they're not really looking like a dynamic offense. And this Browns defense is playing pretty well, and Cleveland still has an outside shot at the playoffs. So I think they're going to come out pretty aggressive here. And I don't think that Andy Dalton is in position to really expose the Browns' biggest weakness, which is their secondary. So I think this Browns defense is actually in a pretty good spot this week. My solid defense for the week is the Los Angeles Chargers. Consensus has them at 12th, and I have them up at 7th. The Chargers are actually tied as the 10th ranked defense over the last month for 7.5 points per game. But the Colts, on the other hand, rank 30th in fantasy points allowed to opposing defenses. And now they're going to be without Jonathan Taylor for the rest of the year, which puts a lot of onus on Matt Ryan to carry this offense. And as we've seen this year, that usually does not end well. Plus, the Chargers are looking to get Derwin James back this week. So even though I don't think we're going to see Joey Bosa on the field for the Chargers, this Chargers defense is getting a little bit healthier. And now they're in a position where they could actually lock up a playoff spot with a win and some things going their way. But this Chargers team really needs to win this game. And I expect them to really put a lot of pressure on pretty statuesque Matt Ryan and have a pretty big game for fantasy purposes. My stud defense for the week is the Denver Broncos. Consensus has them 4th, and I have them up at 3rd. The Broncos are the 9th ranked defense over the last month, averaging 7.8 points per game. They're a pretty solid real-life defense. They're 4th in yards allowed per play. They're 7th in opponent scoring rate, and that hasn't really translated to fantasy during the year, but they've been pretty good of late, and now they're going to face a Rams team that gives up the most fantasy points to opposing defenses of any team in the league. Baker Mayfield being there has not changed my opinion on this Rams offense. It's just not particularly good. They don't really have a lot of dynamic weapons. I don't think they're really going to move the ball really well against this Broncos defense. So I expect this to be a pretty ugly game for the Rams again, and I think the Broncos are a pretty solid fantasy play this week. As always, if you haven't yet, please click below to like and subscribe to get Pick 3 DST every single week, as well as the rest of our other RotoBaller content, our start-sit videos, our DFS rankings, and everything so that we can not only help you win some money this year, but win your league.